You are in the right place. You are watching the right video if you would like to speak better English. I'm David. This is English and More, and let me jump straight to 3 new vocabulary items for you. The first one is let your hair down. Hey, relax. Let your hair down. You're here to enjoy yourself. Have a drink. Sit in a chair. Put your feet up. Relax. Let your hair down. Here is a nice example. After a long week of work, she decided to let her hair down and enjoy the party. Dancing, or the American dancing, I use a neutral or slightly more European accent than an American one. So the Americans would say, dance, we danced all weekend. Well, you can let your hair down and dance or dance if you want to. So to relax and behave freely without being prevented by yourself or anyone else from doing anything you want to do. That is my inverter making a noise. Let me kill the noise. There we go. To cut to the chase. Get to the point. What are you trying to say? Cut to the chase. We don't have time, so let's cut to the chase. What's your decision? This actually comes from the movie or film context, where if you don't want to watch the boring parts of a film and you just want to see the action, you can cut to the chase, specifically the car chase. So this is a nice time to talk about the difference between literal and figurative statements or language. So over here, we used cut to the chase figuratively. We used it figuratively. It's not a real car chase. If it was a real car chase, you would be using it literally. So we have literal language and we have figurative language. So over here, cut to the chase, letting your hair down, they're both figurative. Most idioms, a lot of creative phrases are figurative or metaphorical. They are metaphors. Okay, and if you are over the moon, again, you are not literally over the moon. You are metaphorically or figuratively over the moon. Very happy, delighted. Delighted is extremely happy, extremely glad. He was over the moon when he got the job offer. You've got the job. How do you feel? I'm over the moon. Okay, so like I said, you are in the right place. If you would like to speak better English, you are probably able to understand everything that I am saying or everything that I have said so far. If you are a lower intermediate English speaker or English learner, you might not be able to repeat everything that I have said so far. You might be able to repeat some of what I have said. If you're at the other extreme of this range, let's say you are a proficient English speaker, you can repeat everything that I have said and you can tell me what I have said wrong, if I have indeed said anything wrong so far. This video is not for you if you are already a first language English speaker, if English is your home language or native language. I don't say native language, I prefer home language if English is your home language. But if English is your home language and you would just like to be reminded about some phrases or some sentence structures or some hints and tips, then stick around, keep watching. You might find some of the content in this video interesting. You might be an ESL, English as a second language teacher, or an EFL teacher, English as a foreign language, same thing. Or you just might be curious about some interesting topics. You can head over to englishandmore.co.za and you can see what I offer in terms of English lessons. You can check out the other YouTube videos. You can leave comments on the channel. You can subscribe through the email list, through the website. Use the website, subscribe to the email list, and I will send you the content of this spreadsheet by mail. I'll do that at the end of every week. Let me give you a weekly tip. This week's tip is the word what and the word that. Sometimes people who are learning English mix these up, okay? A lot of the time, people say the thing what I have been thinking about, the thing what I've been thinking about. That is incorrect. It should be the thing that I've been thinking about. This is very natural. It is very common. I would suggest not saying ever, never say, that is the thing what I have been thinking about. After thing, you should just say that. That's the thing that I have been thinking about. That's what I have been speaking about. That's fine. That's what I have been thinking about, or that's the thing I am thinking about. The thing which I've been thinking about is quite formal. I don't like the word which over here. I would prefer that. And what I've been thinking about is very smooth. Okay, take a look over here. The idea, what you suggested. A lot of European clients do this. A lot of people make this mistake. You should say the idea that you suggested. I would go so far as to say that 9 times out of 10, when you are making a statement, when you're not asking a question, when you're making a statement, 9 times out of 10, you should be using the word that. Most of the time in a statement, if you use the word what, it will be like this. What I've been thinking about is going to the pub or wherever it is that you want to go. Wanna or want to. Wanna, short for want to. Gonna, short for going to. I have talked about those phrases in previous videos. Check out the channel. This is video number 8. I think that brings us up to almost 4 hours of content. A lot of people pay for this type of content. I'm offering it here for free. And if you would like to have English lessons with me, you can contact me. Go to the website www.englishandmore.co.za and you can contact me and I will reply to you. All right, let's look at some of the things that my clients said last week that I offered suggestions to. Corrections, suggestions. All right, one of my clients, one of my clients, always a plural, one of the people, one of the cats, one of the dogs. One of my clients said the company offer the opportunity. But the company is one thing, one noun, so the company offers. It offers, he offers, she offers. We offer, they offer. There is a photograph taking pictures of you. Well, a photograph can't do anything. So this is the person who takes photographs. So there is a photographer taking pictures of you. Please notice that there is a difference in the pronunciation. A photograph or a photograph, American and neutral, photograph or photograph. The photographer, notice how the emphasis, the phrase is harder on the tog in the name of the person taking the pictures or the photographs. The photographer, not photographer, photographer. Photograph, photographer. Okay, and this person said he has to read the manuscripts. So the word read is always spelt like this. When you say it like this, when you pronounce it, read, that is the past tense of read. So he has to read the manuscripts. He has not read the manuscripts yet, but still has to read them in the future. Remember, after the preposition to, you will never have a past tense word. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I cannot think of any examples. I'm going to run to the beach. I'm going to eat food later, not ran, not ate. So you are always going to do something, or we went to run at the park yesterday, and the word went puts that sentence into the past tense. All right, she helped them. This is a different client. Should be she helps. I help, you help, they help, we help. It helps, he helps, she helps. I have chosen a job. Nope. Choose, chose, have chosen. I have chosen a job. I always choose chocolate ice cream. A general statement, I always choose. So I choose chocolate ice cream every time, but I have chosen chocolate ice cream this time. And what is your choice? What would you like to choose? All right. He check as he has some updates or reviews. So definitely he, she, it checks. He checks if he has some updates or reviews. I cannot remember the context or the situation. That, not what, that my client was talking about there. All right, let's look at one of the articles that my clients, one of the articles, plural, that my clients and I spoke about this past week, last week. It is this article, and there wasn't one specific article actually. It was one web page. This is one website, one web page, and it has lots of choices, and all of them are about a day in the life of a person who works in a specific type of job. The one that got my attention the most was the genetic counselor position. So many clients spoke about many different jobs on this list or at this website, but I had never heard of a genetic counselor. So let's click that. Now remember, I just said I had never heard about it. I had never heard about this job. But I have now. Now I know about it, but a few days ago, I had never heard about this job, which is why we say I had never heard about it. You could say I have never heard about it, and that means it's true now. Oh, this is new information. But if I had never heard about it, then I know now that I do know about it now. But a few days ago, it was completely new for me. You can also say I had never heard of it. Really, this is the same meaning. I've never heard about it. I've never heard of it. Both are fine. Okay, let's look at the job, a day in the life of a genetic counselor. What is a genetic counselor? This is all new information, was all new information for me a few days ago. Now I know about it. So a genetic counselor looks at patients' medical records and the medical records of different family members to see if you have any strong chance or chance, American and neutral, if you have a strong chance of getting something like cancer or some other type of disease or disorder. So this person looks at a lot of information about your health. Okay, so they see people like a doctor sees people, but these genetic counselors are not doctors. They normally have something like a master's degree. I think it's more than a bachelor's degree. It should be a master's degree. You're looking at a lot of patients' records, their information collected over the years by different doctors or nurses or surgeons or medical professionals. Interestingly, this person starts at 8 a.m. and they end the day at 6:30 p.m. This is pretty usual for the American work culture in some of my clients' lives. For some of my clients, they thought that this was a really long working day. They get to work a bit later and they leave a bit earlier. So that's the difference between the European work culture and the American work culture in general. Americans work longer hours and they work for more days of the year. So those are the types of conversations that I had with my clients this past week. Do you think that's a long working day, 8 till 6:30? Yeah, leaving the office at 6:30. So let me know in the comments. Is that usual for you? How many hours per day do you work? What do you think is a reasonable number of hours to work every day? 8 hours, 7 hours, and maybe even per week? 40 hours? I think 40 hours, that length of time is the norm for many people all over the world. 40 hours per week. What's your norm? What do you think about the norm of 40 hours per week? Let me know in the comments. 40 hours per week. What do you think? Okay, let's look at some of the vocabulary from that article. It is the article about the genetic counselor. Okay, let's look at the vocabulary. A day in the life of a genetic counselor. So this person is an undergraduate, or she received her undergraduate degree. Let's look at the example sentence. She received her undergraduate degree at Purdue University. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Purdue? Let me know in the comments. Her undergrad degree, short for undergraduate. So here it is definitely an adjective. You are describing the degree. It is an undergrad degree. That is usually the first 3 years of your studying program, of the program that you are studying. So the first 3 years, it might be 4 years. My undergrad degree took me 3 years to complete. I mentioned the medical records. You can refer to those as your charts. The doctor or the nurse will look at your medical records or your medical charts if you are in hospital. Why did I say in hospital and not in the hospital? Okay, because some words refer to institutions that have been around for a very, very long time. I may have spoken about this in a previous video, but remember, for hospitals, for schools, for church, for prison, and work, all of these, often we just don't say the. So I have to go to hospital is totally fine. Why? Because we know that you mean for some kind of medical attention, for surgery. This is just an example. You might have to go there for something else. And we can kind of use this structure for all of these. So I have to go to school to learn. Okay, is that starting to make sense? So these are long-standing traditions, organizations, cultural practices, and we all know what it is that you do at the hospital. And I said the hospital. That should be at hospital, okay? Now, you can say something different. I want to give you an example just of hospital over here. So all of those are the same. I have to go to church to worship, to prison for punishment, and to work to earn money. We are very familiar with those organizations. But let's look at a mother who has to fetch her child from school. So she might say, I have to go past the school. And in this example, let's change it to drop off Jimmy's PT, physical torture, no, outdoor, phys ed, physical education clothing. Jimmy forgot his clothing at home. The mother is going to drive past the school. Why? Because she's not going to study there. So she doesn't have to say she's going to school to drop off Jimmy's clothes, because she's not going to learn anything there. But Jimmy does have to go to school to learn. I'm probably not going to church to worship, but I might have to drop something off at a church or the church in my neighborhood, but I'm not going to worship there. Same. I'm not going to prison because I have not broken any laws, but I might have to drive into the prison area at some point in the future to drop something off there. I'm not sure why I would ever have to do that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to work to earn money, but I quickly have to drive to the workplace quickly to grab something, just to pick something up. So I need to grab my suitcase. I forgot it there when I left the office. Just grabbing quickly get something, quickly hold it, grab it, run with it. Okay, let's move back to the vocabulary items from that article. The medical charts. Are things up to date in your medical records? Up to date? Yes, all the information is recent. You do not need to do any more tests. All the information that you have is up to date. It's good. It's not out of date. Everything is up to date. You can do a thorough check, a very detailed check. If you do a thorough job of something, you've done it very well. You've looked deeply into whatever you have to look into. A nice phrasal verb. I'll look into it. Let me look into it. And usually we say, and get back to you. I'll get back to you next week. I'll look into it this week, and I'll get back to you next week. Quite useful. All right, where are we? Underlying condition, don't worry about that one. Quite a lot of interesting ones here. Wrap up, another nice phrasal verb. If you are in the winter of your seasons, if it's winter wherever you are, you might have to put on clothing, a lot of clothing. Wrap up warmly. Wrap up warmly. The Americans might not use the adverb properly. They might just say wrap up warm. Wrap up warm, but it would be better to say wrap up warmly. But this meaning is slightly different here. Here it means she finishes. It's like when you are preparing a present or a gift for someone, you cover it with wrapping, like present wrapping. But here it's kind of similar because you've put the present together, you wrap it up, it's finished. What time will we wrap up today? Usually 5 o'clock. Okay, anything else that is interesting? Let's look at clinic duties. That seems pretty obvious. If you have a duty, you have to do it. And if it's a clinic duty, it's in a clinic, right? Responsibilities in a medical clinic. All right, if you have any comments on this topic, please make them in the comments section of the YouTube video, which you can like, and you can also subscribe to the channel. That will help the channel grow. Let's look at 3 or 6, maybe 6 more suggestions that I made to my clients last week. She helped them. Easy fix. It helps. She helps. He helps. But they help. We help. So she helps them. I have chosen a job. I have chosen a job. Didn't we just do that one? We've done that. Sorry about that. This was interesting. A stole painting. Quite a difficult word to turn into an adjective. The painting that is stolen. So a stolen painting. The painting that has been stolen is even better. Stole, have stolen, or has stolen. Steal, stole, has stolen. Steal, stole, have stolen. The lawyer convinced her to return it. The lawyer, he or she or it. The lawyer convinced her to return it, the stolen painting, I'm assuming. And they usually don't insure all the collection. But if it's usually happening, it's not just in the past or the past, as the Americans would say. So we wouldn't use the D. They usually don't insure the whole collection, or they usually don't insure all the collections. So here I changed all the collection to the whole collection or all the collections. Slightly better. And then if they have a power, difficult. Power here, very difficult to have one of. It's like I have a water. Okay, I have a bottle of water, usually. But here, power is similar, just a bit more tricky to count. So if they have power, or if they have the power, usually to do something, to make that decision, for example, So that's how we can talk about power over here. Also note that you could say something like, I have a powerful engine in my car. Or the car comes with a powerful engine, right? It is too much complicated. You can just say it is too complicated. You could use the word much. You could say it is much more complicated now to do anything. Not true. I think things are getting easier generally, but I cannot remember the situation we were talking about. And then finally, did you heard about this decision? This is very common. My clients make this mistake a lot. When you use the word did, you have already put the sentence into the past or past tense. Did you hear? So here the word hear becomes the present tense verb because did has put the meaning in the past tense. Did you hear about his decision? Did you go to the store yesterday? Did you paint the bookshelf? Paint, year, go. They can all be general present tense verbs because did puts it into the past tense. All right, the second article I would like to speak about briefly is not one that I spoke about with many of my clients. This is just one that is interesting to me because I am in South Africa, and in South Africa, we often have cable theft. Cable is often stolen from houses, from electricity wires, from different buildings. Cable is always being stolen, right? So these are the cables, these are the wires, and you can steal them and you can sell them for money. I don't recommend that you do that. It is a criminal offense. It is against the law. Let me write those down. A criminal offense, and it is against the law. It is a crime. Don't do it. It happened in... Oh, I should not put those here. I should put those in the unplanned vocabulary tab. There they are. Remember, you can get this spreadsheet from me. I send the spreadsheets to my subscribers at the end of every week. So you won't get them all from me, but if you subscribe to the channel now through my website, you can go to the top of the page, you can click subscribe. It will put you on an email list, and I will send you the content of the spreadsheet, and you can read it out loud. Read it so that you can hear yourself saying what you are reading, and that is how you improve your English very, very quickly. Trust me. The other way is then to work with someone like me to get feedback on what you are saying and how you are saying it, and also to have very interesting discussions and conversations in English. It is English and more, so I bring quite a few interesting topics into every discussion to make you dig a bit deeper and think more deeply about your answers. Just think a bit more deeply about your answers if that's what you want. All right, there is also a free ebook that you can get if you click the free ebook icon or button and then just enter your details. It will put you onto an email list and you will get a really handy book called 5 Easy Fixes. Let me know what you think about the book in the comments. It's a really useful resource. All right, let's talk about the cable theft article. I want to do this by just looking at some of the vocabulary in the article. So not just delays. Don't expect delays. Expect severe, really serious delays. You are going to be very delayed. Severe delays due to cable theft, long waits, long wait times, beyond normal expectations. All right, do you do things at the last minute? Well, you might not. I tend not to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So that's why I said I tend not to. Let me write that down. It might not always be true. So, like, I love chocolate ice cream. I tend to order chocolate ice cream every time, but maybe sometimes I'll choose something different. So, it's the opposite of this would be I always order chocolate ice cream. It's not the opposite, right? I suppose the opposite of always would be never. So I never do it. And I tend to means most of the time. Okay. So let's look at the vocabulary. How did I get to tend? All right. Last minute cancellations. I tend not to do things at the last minute. Do you? Let me know in the comments. So passengers faced last minute cancellations without warning, or American last minute cancellations without warning. Alternative routes, you have to find a different way to get there using a different form of transport or a different means of transport. Should I write that down? A different form or means of transport or transport. American transport, neutral transport. More European, almost more British. Transport versus transport. Okay, travel chaos. Wow, everything was disorganized, disrupted, not ordered, quite chaotic. Cable theft caused travel chaos across the network. It was really difficult. People were not standing in lines. They didn't know what to do. It was very chaotic. All right, let's look for more interesting ones. To rearrange something. So we had a plan. The plan is not going to work. Now we need to make changes, move things around on our schedule. So you have to rearrange the trip. They can rearrange their trip for free. You would hope so. You would hope so. Passengers should not pay if they did not make the mistake. Okay. Eurostar also did not make the mistake, so it is nice of them to pay for rearranged trips. Okay, an e-voucher, something that you can get online. So you can get an e-voucher, an electronic voucher. You can use it in the future to travel on the Eurostar if you want to. I say the Eurostar. I don't know. What do you say in Europe? We are going to use Eurostar or the Eurostar. I say the Eurostar because it's the Eurostar train. A full refund, you get all your money back. Is the ticket still valid? Can I still use it? Has it expired? Yes, you can still use it because it only expires next year. Okay, so it is valid until then. It is valid until that date. Okay, so you need a valid ticket. Don't worry about compound the problem, quite a difficult one. To postpone a journey. So if you try to reorganize your holiday or vacation and you just cannot do it, you can't do it because you have to work, well, you might have to wait until next year to go on the vacation. So you are postponing the holiday or the journey. You are delaying it until a later time or delaying it to a later time. Let's take a look here. Claim. Passengers have 3 months to claim a refund. So you have the potential to get a refund, but you can wait for a while to claim the refund. It's like asking for the refund in this situation or context. So it's an official request. You can ask for it. I'm claiming the refund. Whisk passengers. Interesting. So passengers here definitely is a noun, plural, and whisk means a quick motion. Why would you whisk passengers? It's quite creative. New Eurostar routes will whisk passengers to Germany. They will be taken there really quickly by Eurostar or by the Eurostar train. So to transport or transport quickly and efficiently. A reminder that I have 2 books. If you would like to have English lessons with me, then you could get these books. You could read the books out loud so that you can hear the words that you are saying, which is, I guarantee, the quickest way to improve your English. You might find some of what I have written about in these books to be very interesting. Some of the content is quite interesting. I would think so. I wrote the books. Why would I write something I don't think is interesting? And then we could speak about what is in the books. if you want to. We don't have to. It is an option. So you can head over to Amazon.com using these links, which you can get from me if you go to englishandmore.co.za, and you can find the links at the website. You can get the free ebook, and you can subscribe to the email list for this week's content in the spreadsheet. I will email it to you. I think that's enough for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, ask me a question, and I will try to answer the question in next week's video. Ciao for now.